Welcome to my PlayHouse, and today I want to go a little further with this IBM BladeCenter. It's the model BladeCenter. It's a BladeCenter H BladeCenter. It has room for 14 servers, and each of the servers is a fully separate server that can operate on its own. In my last video I got this BladeCenter up and running, but I only had one power cord for it, and I did order some new connections for it in China, but I actually managed to find a new cable for it, and this cable has the right plugs. So today I'm going to be able to get the BladeCenter up and running on full power. Also wanted to try and get the management adapter up and running so that I can remotely control the servers from anywhere. Like, I can connect to this BladeCenter from anywhere in the world as long as there's an internet connection, because that's the way my network works here. I connect to a jump station, and from that jump station I have access to all my equipment, as it is most places. I'm gonna go behind the scenes and measure up this cable, because these leads are way too long. I don't want this cable mess back there, so I'm gonna do exactly the same thing as I did in the last BladeCenter video. I'm gonna shorten the cable so that it's just long enough, not too long, not too short, and that helps a lot in a crowded environments. Like behind my racks here, there's not a lot of room, so it needs to be tight. I actually also got some new network cables and power leads. I haven't got anything within reach. Okay, we're actually on the behind of the racks right now. I managed to cramp the tripod in here. It's not perfect, but I have the connector here, and I'm gonna bring it behind some other cables to get it in right. Can you see anything? It's in here. These cables are in the way, but I'm not able to get them out of the way, but I'm just gonna plug this in. Not really being plugged in correctly. There it is. And it's in there tight. So here I have these three connections, and I want to make sure that they go in like this, and then I have to divide them. This power strip up here, I have a power strip from up here and all the way down to the ground in here, and there's a lot of plugs on it like this, but it's divided into three sections, and that means that there's three power leads coming out of it, which is all three 230 volts. So, and each of them delivers power to one of these units. This is one unit, and down here is the next unit, and at the bottom there is the third unit. I want to make sure that the connection from the BladeCenter goes into all three units. So I want it to go over here, and one going up, one going down, and one going in here. And to do that, I've found some tape, and I did the same trick last week when I did the other video, that I marked one of the connections to go in and where to cut it and so on and so forth. I'm gonna take, this is the shortest one, and I'm not gonna tighten it too much, but I need a bit of leads inside to go inside of the plug. So this is minimum, and then I'll leave some for the connections and stuff like that. So that's where that cable is going to be cut and be going into this power lead. And let's take another one and go up. And I want to go over here and then up. So it's gonna go over here and up to the middle somewhere, up to the to the middle of the power plug, and then leave some extra for that. That's that one, and we need the last one, the one that has not yet been cut. Uncertain if you can see what's going on here. Yeah, you can. So this cable is the last one, and that's going in down to the bottom. So that's going to go over here, probably down there, and oh, that didn't go too well. Down there, and then go down to the middle of that and be marked around that spot. So now I have marked the cables where I'm gonna cut the accessory off, and it's on this cable. I think it's at least a meter that is being cut off, that I'm shortening this cable. So it's gonna be quite a lot. Now I've moved myself outside of the data center because it's much more quiet and good place to work outside, sitting down with your computer, watching YouTube videos. So these plugs are the good ones. You can take them apart, and I'm just planning to shorten this cable up to the red spots. I made the cable. It's shorter. The leftovers is down here on the floor. Might not seem like a lot. Can I see that? Yeah. But it's still a huge amount of cables that I don't have to have in the data center. And right now these connections are just black, and the BladeCenter uses so much power that I want to be sure to disconnect it when I'm not using it. So I'm gonna mark these plugs with red tape, so I know which one is the BladeCenter, and I can unplug these really. Okay, I've plugged in the plug in the BladeCenter, and now I just have these 3 leads leading out of it, and I'm gonna plug it in, and it's gonna be very noisy in just a little bit when it realizes that it's now got power, which is now. These two is exactly the same length, so it doesn't really matter which one goes up, which one goes down. I kind of kicked in now. There we are, that's half of it. And I'm gonna plug in the one in the other side as well. One in. And it's already turning down the fan blowers. I guess it's realized that it's got dual power now. A lot less drag. It's fully plugged in now. Backing out of there. Whew. It's a happy camper now. Oh, it's still disappointed about something. We'll have to go and see what that is. But it's lovely and quiet right now. And there is now light in this power supply, this power supply, this power supply, and this power supply, so that's good. Let's power on the virtual machine. How do I do that anyway? Oh, you take this down and there's a power button right there. That's how. The blade server is booting. Apparently this blade server has 2 processors and they are E2420s, 2.5 gigahertz processors. Okay, it's booting. It's found some internal drives. Yeah, there's one internal hard drive in that server. And it's starting VMware ESXi 5.1 was the one that was installed on that server. And I'm gonna go see if I can connect to it from the management on my computer in the living room. It's less noisy in there. Okay, we are right here at the computer, and this was problem last time. For the first thing, I had the most luck with Internet Explorer, so we are gonna start up there, and I wanna show you something. Actually, I got a comment on my YouTube comments. That's probably where the most comments come, and that's actually where I like to have my comments. And let's just log into the management adapter on the BladeCenter, and we're in there just about now. And we're going down here to the blades and remote control. And I want to do a remote control session to the blade that I just turned on, and it comes with it tells me that this is very unsure. Okay, we're continuing, and we can update, but we'll do that later. And then it runs Java, and it complains. Do you wish to continue? Yes, I do. And then there is like this one, it's being blocked. We are not allowed to go in there. So it just dies there. I get an error. That's really irritating. But somebody commented on my channel, on the last video that I did, that I should do the following. Start the control panel, go into Java, security, and edit the site list, and going into this one, and instead of HTTP make an HTTPS. The little lock disappears here, but I can still press OK and OK again. And let's just see if that helped my problem. Remote control, start remote control. Later. It didn't. It did before. So let's log out. Close the window. Open the window. Open it up again. Log in again. Continue. And remote control here. And start remote control. And I get another security thing, and I'm actually able to run the session. Now I get a control panel, and I can select the different blades that I have in my BladeCenter. Most of them is off, only number 1 is on right now, and it's connecting, and I get the screen. So that's very cool. And I get the different options up here. I can mount a remote drive. Like if I want to put on a new edition of ESXi on this VMware, I could mount the ISO file here and do a reinstall, which is something that I might do rather soon. my BladeCenter is up and running now. That's mighty cool. I haven't tried this one. There's a lot of options in here I've never played around with. Media tray. Oh, I can. It's probably the CD-ROM drive in the BladeCenter that I can mount that to one of the servers. And this is which one is connected to the is it the keyboard, KVM? I think it's the keyboard. Yeah, there's a lot of good options here. So let's minimize that. I want to see how old this firmware is on this. Okay, I found something I think is usable. I went in under service tools and found this AMM service data, and after a bit it loaded all this information about how the BladeCenter is configured. And to get the yeah, let's just go down. I found the firmware on the AMM. Where was it? There's so much data in here. Advanced management modules. Yeah, it's right here. Here is the release date of the firmware is the 15th of October 2010, and I want to go in and see if there is something newer, and I'm really hoping so, because this is old. What is this? Aces. That's weird. So bright. So I went up and I found the number for the server. This is the model number of the for the BladeCenter 8852, and I went to IBM's homepage and I went in under support download, and I'm gonna search for this product, and it found the BladeCenter H chassis 8852. The right model number is not in the list down here, so I can't get the 3 last letters correct. So I'm just gonna search for the main model. Oh, that one. And we're just gonna select all operating system. All listed operating system. That's cool. Go. Download drivers and firmware. Let's try that one. Yes. Continue. Let's see, we have the critical updates. Management module. That's what we want. And indeed, it looks like we have some firmware from 2014. That could be really, really good. That's rather new. So I'll go in and try and download that. We'll take the newest. And I have to sign in. Okay. Hope I get to download this. I do. Download using... I'll just use the browser. Continue. Terms, conditions. Who reads this? I don't know. Let's see, there's some text files. And which one is the actual program? That one is rather big, 50 megabytes. Total size. I wouldn't expect something so big. Let's get that one. Download. Save. And it's downloading down here. It will just be a couple of minutes. An hour? Come on. Get into the fight. So the file down here has downloaded and we're gonna open that. And it opens right there. And apparently there's a couple of files in there. Let's just copy this to a folder here on the desktop. We're gonna call that firmware. Firmware. Empty, check. And mark this and copy. And that was it. That was fairly quick. So let's go back to the web page. And I've gone into the firmware update tab under the controller. So we're going to try and browse here. Choose the desktop and our firmware folder and select that one. I might just have a look at that text file first. No reason to yada 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 yada. Yeah, it's that file. Check. Selecting that, open, update and reboot, and it's gonna look at the files. It is 50 some megabytes, so it might take a while. So I'll do you all a favor and shut up and just let this run. And it's running. It seems that it has completed. That didn't take as long as I had expected. Click here to start new session. We'll do that. Okay, apparently it has booted and now the date here is 2014, so let's see if... And it still remembers the user ID. Log in. Let's see if it looks kind of the same. License features. I don't have any special licenses for this. It has the option of installing something called IBM Fabric Manager. I don't have that, so just gonna continue. And let's see if the firmware version is now newer. It's discovering something that's new. I haven't seen that before. Well, here is the new firmware. It doesn't say the date for the firmware, but it's right there. And I found something else interesting, the power consumption. Here under the power management, I can actually see how much power the blade server is using. And right now it says that it's using about 957 watts. That's a bit more than the last time I just looked in here. It's one server on and it's an entire BladeCenter. It's not that bad, but well, I'm definitely gonna turn it off before I leave. And I always do. Oh, and it even has a nice graph to show the power being used. That's gonna be interesting. Yeah, so I got the BladeCenter up and running fully. That's perfect. I like that. Too bad that the BladeCenter is not configured so that I can turn it on and off from home. the chassis of the BladeCenter will always be on, and it draws just a bit too much power to actually just be left on. I can turn on and off the individual servers, but the chassis, the sensor itself, it uses a fair amount of power to be on a standby, and I can't afford that. Please remember to give this video a thumbs up, and do subscribe to my channel so that you can see me again. Have a really nice day. Bye bye.